Hello my darlings and darklings, welcome back to the Simply Witcher YouTube channel. My name is Letha and today I am bringing the air signs their divine alignment for the month of June. This month I am using the tarot bot for our tarot deck and the field guide to garden dragons for our oracle cards. So as always, for the air signs as a collective, I have an oracle card and then I have individual tarot readings for each sign. Timestamps are always down below somewhere. I always forget to mention that. You might be the only ones who get that reminder. But anyway, let's get into our disclaimers before we get into the readings. First of all, make sure you check in with your sun, moon, and rising sign, because you are not just your sun sign, and you'll get a more complete picture of the month if you check in with all three. And second of all, this is a collective reading, so not everything will resonate with everyone, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Cool. So the dragon I pulled for you, air signs, is the corn dragon. He's a cutie. And this tells me that whatever advice the tarot has for you is going to be about your relationships. It doesn't really get more complex for you than that right now. Yeah, so this is just going to be whatever advice comes from the tarot, apply it to your relationships. It's pretty much what I'm getting. So Gemini, happy Gemini season. I hope you all have spectacular birthdays. Anyway, for you, Gemini, I pulled the Page of Cups, the World, and the Hermit. So this is super fascinating for me. I feel like this has a really interesting message because the Hermit asks you to go inside and the World is about complete fullness, oneness with everything that is. So the Page of Cups really is where I'll start, because the Page of Cups is about going into, our emotions and our feelings and how we're wrapped up in a thing, and applying it in some way. And the cards want you to apply it twofold. They want you to apply it with the Hermit. They want you to go within, understand your emotion, and understand yourself so that you can share your authentic, true self with the people you love, with your friends, your family, whoever is in your life. And then the World asks you to apply that emotional intelligence to, the collective as a whole. What can you do with what you understand about yourself and how you understand your needs and desires as a single individual? How can that help nurture the collective? How can that help nurture the people around you? How can that nurture your community? How can it nurture the world, humanity at large? If you feel called to go that far. Some of you may just nurture your relationships, because that's, like I said, with the corn dragon, that's what this is about, is your relationships. But your community is something you hopefully are in relationship with. So you may not need to go as far as the collective, but you want to be in relationship with community and, of course, in relationship with the people around you. So that's how you can kind of apply that. Yeah, that's really interesting. So go within, understand yourself, apply that to your relationships by sharing it, and then turn that personal understanding of the self and use it to nurture your relationships and your community. Cool. So that's your reading, Gemini. Happy birthday again. And so Libra, we're moving on to your reading. For you, I pulled the 10 of Coins, the Fool, and the 8 of Coins. So what immediately jumps out to me is this 10 of Coins has a tower in it, but this tower is not on fire like the Tower card is. So this is really calling to me like this great growth, this building of abundance. When I think of like towers in popular media, they mean to me someone has built something from the ground up, and it's this great, glorious, awe-inspiring thing. And you have a tower, and it's great, and that's awesome. Good for you. And with this tower, You have gotten this tower, first of all, through diligence in this eight of coins. And that's also how you maintain your 10 of coins tower, is you continue to be diligent and you continue to be quality over quantity. And I feel like this is where we apply the corn dragon, friendships and relationships. Like, you have this great, incredible community that you've built yourself, that is this great and glorious thing, and you need to continue to pour diligence into these relationships and nurture them in a really intentional way. So with the Fool here, it's asking you to, like, reach out, reconnect. Don't assume you know anything about anyone, and ask questions and then really listen to the answers. Ask profound questions, because that's part of the diligence. Is sometimes what our loved ones need is for us to ask different questions than the ones we've been asking, and to ask higher quality questions, because a lot of the times when we get comfortable with people, we can just ask, hey, how are you feeling, and the people will say good, and that will check the box, and we'll feel like, oh good, I've checked in with this person. But sometimes if we ask that question too often, a person will feel like they have to say, oh, I'm good. So you might want to adjust the way you connect with people you've known for a long time, and make sure that they know that when you ask how they are, you really want to know, and you want them to be honest with you, so that you can properly support them and continue this beautiful community you've grown. So, Libra, that is my reading for you for this one. Good luck, have fun, because I know you love community, so have fun doing what you love. Finally, Capricorn, for you, I pulled the Three of Swords, the Chariot, and the Devil. So, Three of Swords and the Devil alarms a lot of people. And, I mean, they don't have the easiest messages to receive, but don't, do the apocalypse panic yet. Because for me, this Three of Swords, the Three of Swords with the Chariot right next to it, this is you moving on, moving past some heartbreak. And the Corn Dragon, again, reminds us that this reading is about our relationship. So you're moving past some heartbreak and some trauma in your relationships, which is great. Incredible. Good job. It's hard work. But the Devil is here to remind you that oftentimes we are what's holding us back. Oftentimes we chain ourselves to things, to ideas, to people, and let that define what we can do, instead of allowing our own personal inner power define what we can and cannot do. So what this reading is really saying is that you're healing, you're moving on, and that's great. But you don't forget to look at the way you think about yourself as you move on. Because when we have a Three of Swords moment, when we have that kind of heartbreak and trauma in our relationships, we need to take stock of how that relationship has affected the way we view ourselves, and unwind any toxicity there before we try to move on into something new and fresh, because we don't want to bring that toxicity into a new relationship. So if you've been through a heartbreak, or you're moving past if you're moving away from an abusive relationship, and you really want to pay attention to how the person who broke your heart, how their words and their actions and the way they treated you have made you look at yourself. For me personally, in the relationships I've experienced that were neither healthy nor happy, I was really affected by the way that person talked about me, the way that what he said, I internalized. And I haven't been able to move into another healthy relationship because I keep bringing that toxicity with me. And so I'm learning to unwind that and learning to move on from that. But it takes time, it takes effort, and you've got to be consciously aware of it if you ever want to truly heal and move on from a toxic or abusive relationship. So for some of us, that'll look like therapy. For some of us, that'll look like real deep inner work. It depends on you and what you need. So, explore all your options. So, that is the Capricorn reading for the month. And that brings me to the end of the Earth sign readings. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know if it resonated there. And subscribe. That's what I'm forgetting. Subscribe. I post new videos every Monday. And I'll see you next time for another reading. Bye!